Okay, so how pissed off is this lawyer? A guy released a YouTube video confessing in no uncertain terms to, well, at least he killed a man, to the killing of a man by way of drunk driving, essentially. And it's pretty graphic stuff.
Well, he is going to be charged with aggravated vehicular homicide.
Right. So unlawful killing. Yeah.
Right. But he confesses. And so what we did was that he put out about a 3-minute video. It's really heart-wrenching in a lot of ways. We just wanted to condense it for you guys. What you'll see is you'll see the beginning of the video where he's concealed himself and the end of the video where he's revealed himself. Let's watch.
Made a mistake and got in my truck. Completely blacked out and decided to try to drive home. I consulted some high-powered attorneys. They were convinced that they could get my blood test thrown out. And all I would have to do for that was lie. Well, I won't go down that path.
My name is Matthew Cordle. And on June 22nd, 2013, I hit and killed Vincent Canzani. This video will act as my confession.
So I'm a little split on that, and I'll tell you why. Because, look, I love that he confessed, and he said, look, I'm not going to fight it in court, and I feel terrible for what happened to him, his family, and I want people to learn from it. And so it's great. It's great that he did that. It's terrible, of course, what he did in the first place to get here.
Right.
But there's like dramatic music, and there's a lot of like production that went into that.
Too stylized for you?
Yeah, and so that felt a little weird to me.
It did. It didn't even look real in that sense. It almost looked theatric in a way, even though I did feel his sincerity, and I agree. I think it's great that he's taking some ownership. Goodness knows more people need to do that. But it did feel like heavy on the production side and very stylized.
Yeah,
for sure.
And so I'm not sure that that's the direction I would have gone. But overall, look, the substance is what matters most. And the Franklin County prosecutor, Ron O'Brien, said it's the most compelling video I think I've seen. He strikes me as remorseful and sincere. Now, that didn't stop the prosecutor from charging aggravated vehicular homicide. It's a second-degree felony that carries a prison sentence of 2 to 8 years.
Yeah, I was gonna say, he would say that though, wouldn't he? Like, doesn't every prosecutor wish they had a videotaped confession? And again, I don't know, maybe it's the criminal defense lawyer in me. I'm not mad at the concept of confessing, I suppose, but I don't know about this format. If I'm his lawyer, I'm not happy that it was done in this way.
Yeah. Now, look, his, of course, lawyer then puts it in the best light. Look at what a heroic guy he is for confessing, etc. And he might get less of a sentence for not fighting it. That's true, too.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that, you know, that his Canzani, who was killed, his family probably feels a little better that at least he's being open and honest about it.
Maybe, but let me play a little devil's advocate there, though, Cenk. Maybe they don't like the fact that he's getting all this attention. Like, see what I'm saying? This makes it about him instead of about the victim.
That's what bothered me in my gut.
Yeah.
I think you hit on it right there.
Yeah.
But look, if it gets through to people to not drink and drive, and he's like, look, you think you can handle a couple of beers, you think you can, you know, et cetera, you can't. And you think, oh, it's only a couple of miles. Learn from my horrible, horrible mistake. And that's a message, obviously, that's good.
You know what would have done that better for me? What you're saying is if this video contained less of this guy's face, the perpetrator of this crime, but pictures of the deceased with his family, with his kids, he was a veteran, things like that. I think then that resonates in terms of prevention more so than just the headshot of the guy charged with the murder or killing.
I hear you on that. That makes a lot of sense. Another question for you, 2 to 8 years. What do you think? I mean, a guy who drinks and drives, kills somebody else, he obviously didn't mean it, but he was
intended the action.
Reckless in the intended action, etc. But he confesses and says, you know, I'm willing to take whatever consequences. If you're Judge Williams in that case, what do you do?
I give him the 8 years, not more necessarily. And here's why. If he is a habitual DUI offender, that's different to me. If this is indeed his first DUI and it just had this horribly tragic ending that could happen to anybody that gets behind the wheel after one too many, I think 8 years is long enough for him to reflect on that choice. I think it serves to punish what he did wrong, and it should serve to dissuade him from doing it again. I think 8 years is a long time in jail.
All right, so here's my conclusion. You do not want to be in Judge Williams' court. Okay, it's 2 to 8. She's starting with 8 and thinking about going higher.
Right.
Now, like, mind you, though, this guy was on the wrong side of the road. This wasn't a little tipsy. I'd be interested to know what his blood alcohol content level was. It probably was astronomical, and
You know, it's just, you know, I've dealt with a lot of DUIs, Cenk. It's a horrible thing. I'm not, you know, people are human. I understand people make bad choices, and particularly when they're intoxicated. That's the whole point. But this guy lost his life. You know, it was serving. You know, it's tough.
Let me open it up a little bit. What do you guys think? 2 to 8?
You still killed someone.
Yeah, somebody's got to pay for that.
I mean, there's people that you know, they go to, okay, maybe it wasn't intention. This is not premeditated. It's going to. Someone's going into commit a robbery, burglary, and they kill someone. They get murder. You know, they get serious murder. So I understand that's why it's manslaughter. So I can see that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give him 5.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, 5 years. 5 years out of your life is gigantic,
Yeah.
right? And so you're doing some serious damage there, and you're setting a healthy precedent that, like, you don't want to go in that direction. Even if you're a bad guy and you don't care about other people, you only care about yourself, you still should think twice.
Yeah.
If you think you're going to get, at least 5 years.